Hello and welcome back to Old Truthford, the home of honestly biased sports content. This is the match reaction to Manchester United v FC Copenhagen, where the final score was FC Copenhagen 4, Manchester United 3, in a game which essentially summarised our entire season. We witnessed the worst, witnessed the best of what we were capable of, and this is how it went down. So first off, we have a blinding start with Højlund scoring the goal within the first 3 minutes, I believe. So we move on to then take control of the game. We're comfortable. We then go up another goal, and we're 2-0 up. It's comfy, almost too comfy, you may say. And then shock. The referee comes to the conclusion that Marcus Rashford, who was shielding the ball and who was looking to plant his foot on the ground, not even looking at where the other player's leg was, lands on the other player's leg, because the other player's leg is, if anything, making contact with Marcus Rashford's. And there we go. Red card, Marcus Rashford. Do I think it was a red card? No. Does anyone think it was a red card? From what I've seen, no. So you've got a bunch of questionable decisions here. Nobody thinks it's a red card. And yeah, just add it to the pile of terrible decisions that the referees have made this season so far. So we're down to 10 men. We're 2-0 up. At which point, Copenhagen then win a penalty, which is arguably not even a penalty. I mean, but yeah, it ricochets and hits Harry Maguire's arm. Penalty given. Cool. So now it's 2-1. After two questionable decisions, Copenhagen are very well back in this game. Now, we move on to the next goal, and Copenhagen score again, making it 2-2 from a cross down the right-hand side. And yeah, not much to complain with that second goal. Poor defending. Garnacho should have really tracked his man a bit more down the right-hand side, preventing that cross. And yeah, there's not much to say about it. So we're 2-2. We go into half-time at 2-2. And then we come out with only 10 men. It's always going to be a struggle from this point, but we defend well. We're still creating some form of attacks, but we're happy to pass it around the back, play safe, play out for the draw. Until Harry Maguire, fortunately, is at the end of a cross, heads the ball into the Copenhagen player's hand, and we win a penalty. Now, for me personally, that was a very harsh penalty because the ball was literally about 40 centimetres away from the Copenhagen player's hand. However, if they're going to give the penalty that they gave for Maguire, the referee is in a situation where they have to make the decision to give it a penalty, because otherwise it's an identical scenario. Why would you not give the penalty to Maguire? So we win the penalty, we score it, we go 3-2 up, and this is where I have to talk about a player in a not so flattering way, a player who I've mentioned time and time again, a player who I believe has been at the core of why we lost the Newcastle game, why we lost the Galatasaray game at home, and now why we've lost this game. And that player is Diogo Dalot. I cannot understand how he has anyone backing him when his best attribute is going forward, and yet Aaron Wan-Bissaka creates more, gets more key passes. He's just better overall going forward. And that's without even mentioning Aaron Wan-Bissaka's defensive work, okay? Like, Dalot... Okay, let's talk about the third goal for Copenhagen. The cross comes in, we're under pressure, we've got 10 men, it's all backs behind the wall, we're 3-2 up, we just need to hold this out. Copenhagen don't look like they've really got many options. It doesn't look like they can pass through us, so they're just going to play it out wide and they're just going to try and cut in. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing for the past 5-10 minutes. Okay, so they cross in, back post, Dalot looks back to check where his man is, and then doesn't even move. He doesn't even try and defend him. He doesn't try and block the cross. He just literally switches off for 2 seconds, which is enough for a player to make a run on you, and then goal. And then Dalot tries to foul him afterwards, as though that'll make a difference. Okay, great. So we're 3-3 now. It's the final... I don't know the exact time. We're looking at the final 15 minutes of the game or so. So we're 3-3. We're 3-3. We're drawing. We needed a win to get hope of advancing into the next Champions League group stage. And what happens? Everyone panics. Raphael Varane, the man who's supposed to provide composure into the side when he comes in, is making these crazy balls over the top to try and find Maguire when it's bouncing in front of him, and there's 2 Copenhagen players trying to track him down. Sloppy. And from that point, it was obvious that we were going to lose because our heads were gone. At 3-3, it looked as though the heads literally just left some of the players' bodies and they were just working on autopilot. Varane to make that decision with that pass, and Onana to try and be clever at the back with that back pass from Aaron Wan-Bissaka. You could say, actually, to be fair, I'm not going to be too harsh on Onana with that one because Aaron Wan-Bissaka, it was a bit of a hospital pass, but still, that led up to Dalot's mistake, but still, Dalot should know how to defend on the back post. It's so poor. It's so poor. And Dalot's done this consistently in so many games where I'm past the point of return now. Dalot, I think, should be sold in January. I think maybe, if not January, he needs to be sold in the summer. We've been connected to Jeremy Frimpong. He's just signed a new contract with Bayer Leverkusen, so I don't know if we're even going to have a chance to actually get him with the funds that we have. But Diogo Dalot, needs to leave this club. He's 25 now or something like that. This should be entering his peak years. He still hasn't learned how to defend. Dalot needs to go. And yeah. And the players really just need to have a long, hard look at themselves. Varane, I'm just looking at that replay now of Varane. Maguire plays it to Varane, and then he just loops the ball over to Maguire. And why not just play it long? Why not do anything? Like, it was Varane. You're supposed to provide composure in those situations, and it just leads to pure chaos. And back post with Dalot again, doesn't defend his man, and 4th goal scored. Dalot's in no man's land for that 4th goal. I'm just rewatching it again. Literally, he thinks his player's behind him. He's not keeping an eye on his player, and we concede. Great. Okay. So 2 goals could be pretty much pinned on Dalot when both of those goals were scored by the man Dalot was supposed to be marking. And the 2 goals prior to that were, one, poor refereeing decision with a penalty, and the other one, poor cross. Well, poor defending. Overall team structure wasn't the best, but you could kind of see how those goals happen. Out of all of them, 1 goal. I think one goal should have happened. The rest of them, completely preventable / refereeing just BS. Okay, so let's go through the player ratings. I'll just read out what you guys are saying quickly. Cost, out of UCL, thanks refs and useless defenders. Yep. And Ten Hag isn't saying shiz, just standing there existing. I don't know what you want Ten Hag to say though, man. Delo, Garnacho. Yeah, Garnacho didn't have his best game. Cost, sack him. You're going to say sack Ten Hag for that? Like, the players are useless. Delo needs to go before Ten Hag. This is it. This was it. Our chance at UCL for the next 2 years is gone now. Great. Says Cost. Antonio, this defensive line is shame for the football community. Yeah. And more particularly Delo. Look at the games. Look at Galatasaray. Look at Newcastle. Look at today. Just watch Diogo Delo and where he is for all of his goals. Watch it, please. I beg. I beg. Okay. Let's do these player ratings. So, for me, Onana, I think he had a semi-decent game in all honesty. I mean, he conceded 4 goals, but I thought he played average. I think none of the goals are really his fault. I'm probably going to give him a 6.3. I'm tired of blaming the entire team over certain individuals just not turning up. So, Varane, I think he had a good game overall. He wasn't expecting to start, so he adapted well to begin with. That sloppy ball to Maguire, which led to the 4th goal. I'm sorry, that was just terrible. I'm going to give Varane. I can't give him a 6 after conceding 4 goals, man. I'm going to give Varane a 5. Maguire, I thought he had a decent game, even though he was playing at left centre-back, which isn't his preferred position. It's obviously right centre-back, as Ten Hag's mentioned. I'm going to give Maguire 5.2. Wan-Bissaka, I thought Wan-Bissaka actually had a decent game. I'm giving him a 6. Delo, 4.5, absolute trash. No, 4. Both of the 2 goals at the end were came from his side because opposition know that he's weak. He's just weak and doesn't know how to defend. 4. Delo, trash. Eriksen didn't really play, but in the first half he was pretty decent, so I'll give him a 6 as well with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I don't think anyone deserves more than a 6. Maybe one person, and we'll get onto that. McTominay picked up an assist, but pretty average game. Played the entire game. I'd give him more than Eriksen. Give him a 6.5 because he picked up the assist, so average. 6.5 is average. Fernandes scored the penalty. I thought he had a decent game overall, was breaking on the counter-attack. It's not really his fault that the defence and particularly Diogo Delo capitulated. I'm giving him a 7.0. Actually, Maguire also won us for penalty. Sorry, I completely forgot about that. Maguire's going up to a 5.9. Garnacho, average, lackluster. Had the shot, which then rebounded to Højlund, but could have passed to Højlund, so he was lucky Højlund was on the end of it. Garnacho, I'll give him a 5.8. I don't think he had a good game at all, to be honest. Højlund, 8.2. Very good game. Unlucky, really, not to get a hat-trick and not for the game to go a certain way because of the referees. Rashford, I'm going to give him a 5.5 purely because we didn't get to see him, and despite the red not being a red, he still holds some responsibility for getting a red card. Okay, so now I'm going to work out the averages of the Old Truthford Discord, and we'll see what people have voted over there. See how your player ratings go. Okay, so first, Onana. How have people rated Onana's performance? I'm guessing this is going to be quite a mixed bag. So Onana has picked himself up an average rating, because Onana was having a good game before the chaos ensued. It would appear Onana has picked himself up a final rating from the Old Truthfordian Discord of 6.5. Okay, 6.5 for Onana. Varane next. Okay, so Varane has picked himself up an average score of 5.5. Maguire. Interested to see what Maguire gets, because I thought he actually had a fairly decent game, but still not at his best. He doesn't excel at left centre back as much as he does at right centre back. Okay, so Maguire picked himself up a rating of 5.9. I think that's fair. Can't expect high ratings considering they all conceded 4 goals. Delo, okay, please, I swear, if people have rated Delo should be the lowest on the pitch. Surely. Okay, good. Common sense prevails. Delo has picked himself up a average rating of 4.1. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Let's see what people thought of Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the Discord. So Aaron Wan-Bissaka has picked himself up an average rating. I'm so tired of Delo, man. Wan-Bissaka has picked himself up an average rating of 7.4. Very good. To be honest, I think I may have been a bit harsh with Aaron Wan-Bissaka on my rating, just because I do feel as though if a back four concede 4 goals, then all of them are partly responsible. But when we look at it, Aaron Wan-Bissaka wasn't really responsible for any of the goals, apart from maybe the back pass to Onana. But that's an instruction from a manager, so can't really blame him for passing the ball back. Okay, so Ericsson picked up a rating of 5.4. I don't know why Ericsson picked up such a low rating. He didn't do anything particularly poorly. Just got subbed off because we were a man down. McTominay picks up a rating of 6.1, which I think is fair. Got an assist, but pretty average performance. Fernandes, he has picked himself up a rating of 6.8, which is a bit low considering he scored a penalty, so he got a goal. But yeah, I can understand it. Rashford, let's see what Rashford gets. He's probably going to get absolutely slated from people who think he shouldn't have got the red. And yeah, somehow Rashford's got lower than Delo for a decision that went against him. Come on, man. 2.9 for Rashford on average from the Discord. Højlund. even though everyone unanimously agreed that the Rashford red card wasn't a red card, he still gets the lowest score on the pitch. Okay, Højlund, this is interesting. He picked himself up a score of 8.3. Very good. I agree with that. That's quite close to my rating as well. Højlund, only one who can really hold his head up high. Garnacho. Okay, Garnacho, I'm not expecting to get a very high score, if I'm being honest. And Garnacho has an average score of 6 out of 10. Yeah, pretty average there. For Rashford to get 2.9, I think that's mad, to be honest. But yeah, no. It does look as though that we're out of the Champions League. Just for a final comparison, this is my personal player ratings, and this was the Discord player ratings. So, bit shocked to see Rashford get the lowest on the pitch when Delo made 2 defensive errors leading to the goals on the back post, where he just forgot how to defend and he thought that he could just stand on the pitch. Any of us could have done that, you know, what Delo did in those 2 circumstances. Any of us could have just stood there. And we maybe could have even put in a challenge that could have stopped a goal, but Delo obviously can't. But yeah, refs making mistakes, Delo being terrible, and yeah, just errors. That's our season so far, and it would appear that we're out of the Champions League. We've still got a shred of hope, but I don't want to be that delusional and give you hope. So yeah, Manchester United. But thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna end the stream there, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Godspeed.